Alright, so the video shut off. I don't know if we're going to be able to get this back together, splice the video, but we took out the bolt and the stud from one side, and we were able to lift this up enough to get the bolt into the step here. And then it's just a matter of putting this side of the seat back down. Okay, now we've got the seat all tightened down. The metal step is completely installed. It's all tight. And what we have left to do here is finish installing this flare. So you can see that more or less the bottom of the flare it's more or less even with the bottom of the rocker panel here, and it's sitting down on this metal step. So it's in place where it should be. Up inside here, you'll see there's a spot there for a bolt. You can see the mark, the imprint for where that metal plate I showed you earlier was previously installed. You see, so that's going to be this plate right here. I mean, it's just a piece of steel plate. It's got a little bend in it there that faces in towards the body to put tension basically against this, so it's not doing this in the wind when you're driving. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a Sharpie, and this isn't perfect, but it's going to get us close enough to where we need to be. We're going to go up in here with the Sharpie. We're going to mark the body through this slot. Get as much of it as you can. I know there are shorter Sharpies you can get. I don't have one. This is a standard one. A short one, you might actually be able to get in here a whole lot better than what I'm doing. So you want to make sure that you have this where it's supposed to be, and then get up in there and mark this out, because that gives you the area where the slot is, or an approximation. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this flare back off, and we're going to measure. I'll measure it again. I believe it's 2.5 inches from the bottom of this flare piece here to the center of where this slot is, and then we will measure up the body. So this is going to give us the area of where it is, and then the height we will measure with a tape measure to drill the hole for the riv nut. So at this point, like I said, we'll take these bolts back out that we had installed in here just as placeholders. This just pulls off of here because it's just sitting on here, and then we're going to remove this and measure and drill that hole, put the riv nut in, put it all back together, and then we'll put the step back on here, and we will drill these last 4 holes and stick the bolts through. Okay, so we're going to measure from the bottom of this lip here, not the bottom of the flare here, but the bottom of this lip. So the center of that hole, it's approximately 2.5 inches. It should get you close enough. Okay, so that's going to be your height. Now we're going to turn around, and we're going to measure from the bottom of the rocker panel up to where we put the mark. So we're a little high. So we're going to drill just below where that mark is to put our riv nut in. And we're going to try and drill in the center of where this line is, more or less. So we're going to mark it. Doesn't help. It's raining today, so there's water all over this body. So we're going to mark it more or less. We want to be like there, somewhere's in that area. So we're going to drill that out. We're going to drill it big enough, using unibit, big enough for the riv nut to go in. So whatever size that ends up being. And we will be back. Just point that at what I'm doing. without putting your hand in front of the lens. Alright, so if you haven't seen a riv nut tool before, how it works, you're going to open these, you're going to make sure that this is pushed in all the way, and you just thread the riv nut in all the way, put it into the body, compress all the way, and on this particular tool, you pull this handle, and it should, it's not going to do it, it should, there we go, you pull it and it unscrews it. So that should be good and tight. If you go too tight, you will snap the arbor off of this tool. So there is such a thing as too tight. Some of these tools, like my larger tool, it actually has a gauge on here so that you can see how much you've compressed it. So that is how you install the riv nut. It's that simple. It's one of those deals where having the tool makes the job so much easier. So now what we're going to do is we're going to reinstall this. You've got these two that are going to get bolted in. We're going to put this bolt in, and we're going to put the step tread back on. We're going to screw the bottoms on the bottoms onto that step tread, and we're going to drill holes through the step tread, through this, and through the body, and they will be 1/4 inch holes for 1/4 inch bolts, nuts and bolts. They came with it. Like I said, make sure when you install this that the lip here goes between the body and this metal step plate. When you install the front here, this extension piece, you want to go between the front flare and this metal piece. So this gets sandwiched in there. And then you're just going to push the little Christmas tree back through. So we're going to pause and get all that bolted back up. And then all we have to do is drill these holes. Alright, so we're all bolted in here. This is all tightened back up. You got the little Christmas tree back through there. That is as good as it gets. You can maybe push that closer if you really wanted to, but it's as good as it gets. There needs to be some type of a gap because obviously this stuff probably expands and contracts with the sitting out in the sun and the cold weather. So we've got this just sitting on here. We've got this installed back here. It just takes a regular 1/4-20 bolt. I've used one that was approximately the same length as the bolts I took out in the front. That plate is installed, and what that plate does is it does push this against the body here. So we still need to put the cut nuts on these, and then we need to drill these holes through here. These are going to be 1/4 inch holes. They're 1/4 inch bolts. I'm simply taking a 1/4 inch drill bit and I'm going to drill straight through the body and just install the bolts. It's that simple. They're nut and bolt. So these are the nut and bolts that came out of the other body. If I can get to focus. I guess too much in the picture. They take a Torx. I believe it's a 25 or 27. Let's see. All right, this is, you can't read it because I guess there's too much in the video. The phone doesn't want to focus on it. But it's a T25. So I'm using a T25. It may actually be a T27, but I don't have a 27 just laying around to use. A T30 is definitely too large. So this will do the job. And then these are the nuts take a 7/16 wrench. So it's that simple. Again, never sees on this. Everything I installed got never sees on it. Even since I had to undo part of the seat, I put never sees on it. Put never sees on the stud on the seat and the bolt going through the seat. I don't know if I showed it, but let's take this off here. So that is that bolt installed. We did scratch the seat with the drill bit when we drilled through there. The seat frame, not the seat, so I'll have to touch that up. It's not a big deal. But that's that installed. So I'm going to go ahead and drill these out, and then I will show you what it looks like all finished. Okay, so there's your finished one. It looks just like the other side. And that's it. I do suggest when you're all done taking a shop vac and vacuuming the floors out and the inside of the rockers, because you're going to have a lot of little sharp pieces of metal that you know, people can get their bare feet with if you go barefoot in the summertime. But there it is, left, right. Now you can enjoy having steps on here. They're strong because I'm rocking the entire Jeep. I'm putting on there basically because my wife is a little bit shorter than me, and my little guy likes to ride in the Jeep too. This makes it a lot easier because he's only going to get his foot up onto here instead of trying to get his foot all the way up inside there and then pull on the grab handles to pulling himself up into the Jeep. It also does offer some body protection on the side just from people's feet. And this Jeep is stock height, so it's not like it's all jacked up or anything. So this is probably going to end up having to be part 2 of the video, just because for whatever reason my phone decided to cut out partway through the recording. So hopefully this helps somebody. This gives you a pretty basic walkthrough guide on what you need to do to install these. If you want to install them on your Jeep, if you Jeep never had them on there. This is for a YJ Jeep, so this is your 87 to 95. Like and subscribe.